as long as it takes quality to some of the comments coming from Secretary Hegseth and even President Trump. So that's why I asked that question. Hal Kemper, as always, thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, hope you found that conversation informative. We do have to take yet another quick commercial break, but for the rest of this hour, you'll be hearing from Los Angeles officials in replay from earlier in the day about how these, essentially efforts, I should say, to bring this all under control are going. We'll have that for you after the break.
Now, this is the Fox 11 News at 5.
Now at 5, tear gas, unmarked SUVs, and a family caught in the middle. Federal agents make a dramatic arrest right there in Boyle Heights.
And protesters have gathered for a 6th day. Right now, there is a crowd outside City Hall, also outside the Federal Detention Center.
Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Christine Devine.
I'm Alex Michelson. Thanks to everybody who was just watching TMZ Live. Here is the latest. A curfew remains in place for a 1-mile section of downtown L.A., which goes from 8 p.m. tonight until 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Mayor Bass says that curfew could be lifted if there are fewer arrests tonight. LAPD says it has made nearly 400 arrests since Saturday, the majority for failure to disperse. More than 200 of those came just last night when that curfew was in effect.
Meanwhile, National Guard troops have temporarily detained civilians in the L.A. protests, but then turned them over to law enforcement. The 700 Marines deployed are still undergoing training in Seal Beach.
Let's start our coverage tonight in downtown L.A. with Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez.
So look at what's going on right now and getting a reaction to the new curfew again tonight. Christina?
Good evening, everybody. We're here in front of the Metropolitan Detention Center. And this is part of a large crowd that is actually marching around the block. What you can see here is what we call the stare-off. We actually have some of the protesters standing right across from some of the members of the National Guard. And the area where they're literally just staring into their eyes and just kind of trying is a face-off, as it were. And if you go down the line, you'll see it happening as you look in front of, there's photographers behind trying to get pictures of this. But the point is that this is the entry and where the vehicles that have picked up people arrested by ICE come in and out. And this is what they're trying to block. So far today, the vehicles have been able to come in and out, and they have been able to do that without being stopped. But the crowd, again, much larger, is going around the block. All this going on while everywhere else in the city, at least in downtown, you're trying to go on as usual. Day. Protesters outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. While a few blocks away, people go on about their downtown business. It's the first day after an overnight curfew along a square-mile section of downtown Los Angeles.
Curfews will go on as long as they are needed, but it's really kind of interdependent on what the response is from the federal side. If there are raids that continue, if there are soldiers marching up and down our street, I would imagine that the curfew will continue.
It didn't affect me at all, yeah.
You feel, do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think?
I think it's unnecessary.
I was coming home from work last night on my bike, or right up to my house. There was no problem.
It was remarkably less traffic today.
Businesses are putting up signs begging not to be destroyed, but they're also worried the curfew will hurt them.
It's definitely affected all of us.
Do you think the curfew is going to help? Is it helping?
No. I think it's going to keep some people away. But last night was kind of like a test.
And then there's these tourists from London who had no idea what they were coming into.
It was quite a bit of a shock because we didn't know until we'd landed.
And you're still coming to downtown.
I'll be honest, I didn't realise it was in downtown. We thought it was.
You didn't realise you are in downtown.
Yeah. We thought it was in.
This is downtown, huh?
Well, we thought it was in Compton area. The riots were in Compton.
In downtown Los Angeles, poor Compton, they leave it to the tourists. What you're looking at right now back live here are spotters. Those are the people who are keeping an eye on the crowd from the top of the building. They're all around the crowd. There was some concern from some of the protesters that they had guns. They were snipers. They're not. They're spotters. They're looking around beyond the crowd to see anything happening beyond. And said, this is a small crowd. This is only about a third of the crowd that has been here most of the day. The rest of them are marching City Hall. There's supposed to be a rally at Pershing Square. There's supposed to be a rally here. We asked these people if they were planning to stay past the curfew. Some said yes. The majority said no. But we will have to see what happens. Live in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Christina Gonzalez. Back to you guys.
Well, your tourists weren't 100% off. There were protests in Paramount, which is right next to Compton. But yeah, different story for them not knowing about downtown L.A. All right, thank you, Christina.
Now to this. Today we've seen tear gas, toddlers, and a chaotic street arrest. This all happened in Boyle Heights.
Man wanted after an ICE protest in Paramount is taken down right here by federal agents, causing a collision and even claims of kidnapping. Fox 11's Gina Silva is live with details and to really explain what was going on there. Gina?
Well, I can tell you when the arrest happened, there was a lot of confusion. People assumed that it was an ICE raid. Take a look at what happened.
What I see was two trucks. They block in the car, and then I just see them throw tear gas, and they have babies in the car.
Residents watched in shock as two unmarked gray SUVs suddenly boxed in a white sedan at Whittier Boulevard and Calzona Street in Boyle Heights shortly before 11 a.m. Federal agents swarmed the vehicle with weapons drawn. When the driver refused to get out, they fired tear gas directly at the car.
Fortunately, these tactics are very dangerous. There was two babies inside the car with their parents.
Residents immediately feared the worst, believing they were witnessing an ICE raid. Some posted on social media that ICE agents had just committed a hit and run. But by the afternoon, Homeland Security pushed back, stating this was no hit and run. This was a targeted arrest of a violent rioter who punched a CBP officer. When Homeland Security investigations tried to arrest Christian Damian Serno Camacho for the assault, he attempted to flee. He was ultimately arrested and taken into custody. But some in the community are suspicious.
I don't trust what they say. I see them going after people that they say are criminals, but they've been here for a very long time and they're just trying to make an honest day's wages.
We've seen images of federal agents coming under attack, rocks and chunks of concrete hurled in their direction as they drive through neighborhoods during ICE raids. Homeland Security reports a 413% increase in assaults on federal officers. But community members argue that agents wearing full tactical gear and refusing to answer questions is only fueling public frustration and distrust.
And we asked them for their badge numbers, they just laughed in our faces. I mean, what we're witnessing is there's no laws. Everybody's just, ICE officers are doing whatever they want and are harming our community.
And back here live, community members are about to hold a news conference denouncing what they call aggressive and alarming tactics by federal agents. We will have a lot more on this news conference coming up at 6 p.m. Reporting from Boyle Heights, I'm Gina Silva. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Gina Silva, thank you. Meanwhile, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass rallying against the Trump administration today and its response to those immigration protests.
She was joined by more than 20 mayors from across Southern California, united there demanding an end to the ICE immigration raids in L.A. County.
Today it was the city of Los Angeles. Tomorrow it's one of your cities. When this type of chaotic behavior from Washington, D.C. is forced upon a city, upon all of our cities, then again the fear and the terror that is in our populations is profound and very traumatizing.
Downey's mayor was right there as well. He revealed ICE conducted raids in his city this morning.
They raided the Home Depot, the LA Fitness, and I understand they arrested an elderly man in front of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, a place of worship. He was dropping off his granddaughter at Old PH School. Our job as elected officials is public safety. We would submit to you that these raids at Home Depots, restaurants, places of worship, or schools are not keeping our community safe. They are creating havoc and fear.
These local mayors say their communities are deeply shaken by the recent immigration actions.
The pastor of Downey Memorial Christian Church shared her uncomfortable encounter with federal agents today as they took a man in custody in the church's parking lot.
They then kept using their bodies to try to get me to step back, and they had their rifles and they kept gesturing to them at one point when I decided to keep going closer to the vehicle so that the man could hear me say, "Don't answer any questions. Do not sign anything. Do not sign anything." They did point their rifle at me, and they said, "You need to get back. You need to get back." I did decide to...
Pastor Lopez says she wanted the detained man to know that he was not alone, Christine, and that the community supports him. She says she watched as he was taken away. We'll have more on this coming up next hour at 6 o'clock.
LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing a host of charges today against protesters who turned violent during the anti-ICE demonstrations.
Said this as a warning to people who are thinking about conducting these illegal acts, pretending that they are engaged in protests, but at the moment they engage in the illegal acts, they are no longer legitimate First Amendment protesters. They are criminals, and they will be prosecuted as criminals.
In all, 8 people were arrested and charged, including this guy who was caught on camera throwing rocks in Paramount. Nathan Hochman will be here live in studio for the Fox 11 News at 6. He'll join me to talk more about the charges and other issues related to the ongoing protests.
The Department of Justice announced the arrest of 2 LA County men who were charged with throwing Molotov cocktails during the anti-ICE protests last weekend in downtown LA and Paramount. 23-year-old Emiliano Garduno Galvez of Paramount and 27-year-old Rocky Quiag of Long Beach were charged in federal court with possession of an unregistered destructive device. It does carry a possible sentence of 10 years in prison.
Throwing rocks, explosives, assaulting agents, and committing other acts of violence are extremely dangerous and will not be tolerated. We expect more charges to be filed in the coming days and weeks. If you took part in these riots and were looking to cause trouble, we will come looking for you.
Both defendants are in federal custody, actually. Defendants are in federal custody. The U.S. attorney using this case to send a strong message to other agitators out there.
Yeah, so today we are seeing some of that pushback after everything that we've seen. We also want to point out that we know there are a lot of our viewers that believe that people that are here illegally should be deported and that they say